Hey, what's up guys, my name is Anshul and today in this video let us talk about the Nothing Phone 2 leaks and rumors. This is the second phone from Nothing, the company founded by Carl P, who used to be the co-founder of the company OnePlus. This phone is supposed to be a big improvement over the first one, which was more like a design concept rather than being a performance beast. Let us talk about the very first thing, that is the price and availability of the Nothing Phone 2. The Nothing Phone 2 is confirmed to be launched in summer of the year 2023 and it is available in more markets than the first one. Now the price is not yet confirmed, but we can expect it to be around 40,000 INR or 549 euros. Now this one over here is a bit higher than the first one, which was priced at 469 euros. Now that price was for the 8GB RAM and 128GB of internal storage. Now moving on to the design part, the design of the Nothing Phone 2 is still a mystery, but we have our first glimpse of it thanks to an official teaser from the Nothing company. Now it shows a transparent back with a red LED light, which could be the part of the cool lightning effects that we saw with the first phone, that was the Nothing Phone 1. Now the first one also had a very minimalistic look, and this is the same thing that we can see with the Nothing Phone 2 as well. I'm speaking about no branding or logos on the front and the back of the smartphone, and only something that is more about the glyph interface on the smartphone. The red LED light is also a nice touch and it could be useful for notifications or different modes on the smartphone as well. The display on the Nothing Phone 2 is the next thing that we need to talk about in this video, because we expect the smartphone to come with a 6.5 inches AMOLED panel with a 120Hz refresh rate. I expect the smartphone to come with a panel that is being made by Samsung itself, and the smartphone panel will be more edge to edge, just like the Nothing Phone 1 and on all the iPhones that we have in the market right now. So that is in fact a very good thing. The resolution and brightness are also not known at this point, but we hope that they will be better than the smartphone 1, which had a 1080p display with 450 nits of peak brightness. Now over here I would really expect Nothing to come with something like at least 1000 nits of peak brightness, because if Pixel can do it, then I think that the Nothing Phone smartphones can do it as well. Now the display quality is a very important part for me when I'm looking into smartphones, and I'm glad that Nothing is good for its high refresh rate. That makes everything feel smoother and more responsive. Also, the punch hole selfie camera is not my favorite design choice, but I guess it's better than having a notch or a bezel on the smartphone. Now, talking about the cameras on the Nothing Phone 2, because I can say that the Nothing Phone 1 was having the weakest point in the terms of the camera software optimization. Now it is rumored that the Nothing Phone 2 will have a big upgrade over the first one, which had a mediocre dual camera setup with 48 megapixel main sensor and a 13 megapixel ultra wide sensor. The Phone 2 is said to have a quad camera setup with a 50 megapixel main sensor that might be the one that is similar on the Google Pixel 7 series, and it will also have a 16 megapixel ultra wide camera and a 8 megapixel telephoto camera, along with a 5 megapixel macro sensor camera that is being rumored. Now the selfie camera is also expected to be improved from 16 megapixel to 32 megapixel on this smartphone. The camera performance was one of the weakest points on the first phone, and I'm happy to see that Nothing is addressing that with the second smartphone. A quad camera setup sounds promising, and I'm curious to see that how it will perform in different scenarios. Now, one of the favorite parts on the Nothing Phone 1 was that the battery performance on that smartphone was really a solid one, and that is something that we expect with the Nothing Phone 2 as well. Now, the battery on the Nothing Phone 1 was a 4500 mAh battery cell with 30 watt of fast charging. Now the second phone is said to have a 5000 mAh battery with 67 watt of charging, that is a fast charging and wireless charging support as well. The battery life was decent on the first phone, as I said before, and I'm glad that Nothing is increasing the battery capacity and the charging speed on the second phone to improve the overall experience on the smartphone. Now that should make it last longer and charge faster at the same time, and also adding a wireless charging on the Nothing Phone 2 will increase the flexibility and the convenience of using the smartphone on your daily go. Now the remaining specs and the software on the Nothing Phone 2. The specs on the Nothing Phone 2 are where things get really interesting. The first phone had a Snapdragon 765G Snapdragon processor that was not the flagship processor, but it was able to do most of the tasks easily, and it was paired with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage. The second phone is confirmed to have a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset with up to 12GB of RAM and up to 256GB of internal storage. That is a huge jump in performance and should make this smartphone compete with other flagship phones in terms of speed and gaming. The specs are definitely impressive on paper, and it is to see that how would it turn out into the real-time performance. The Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset is one of the most powerful processors on the market right now, minus its successor, that is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. But hey, no worries over here, because this smartphone will be able to handle everything with ease and without any stutters in the terms of performance or even the display quality or anything that you just throw at this smartphone. Now, the RAM and the storage options are also generous and should provide enough multitasking and storage space for most of the users. Now, talking about the software on the Nothing Phone 2, because this is also one of the most exciting part on the Nothing Phone 1, and that legacy should continue on the Nothing Phone 2 over here. Now, the first phone ran on Nothing OS, which was based on Android 12 and had a major unique features like the glyph interface. The second phone will run on the Nothing OS 1.5, which will be based on Android 13 and will have more customization options and improvements. Now, we have Android 13 beta available on the Nothing Phone 1 as well, but over here I would say Nothing will be improving a lot of things on the Nothing Phone 2 in terms of speed, optimization, power, and so on. So that's everything that we know about the Nothing Phone 2. Now, it seems like that the Nothing Phone 2 is a very promising smartphone that could challenge some of the big players in the market, but we'll have to wait and see that how it performs in real life and how much does it cost. I think if this smartphone comes with a bigger battery life and with Snapdragon 8 Gen Plus 1 chipset, this one over here will be a killer smartphone. But the only thing that will decide it will be killer or no would be the pricing on this smartphone. Now, I hope that the direct competitor of the Nothing Phone 2 will be the Pixel 7 smartphone, and if this smartphone is priced similarly as the Pixel 7, this one over here will be a win-win device. So that was all about the Nothing Phone 2 leaks and rumors. I hope you liked this video. That was me, Anshul. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.